Welcome to the I-9 how-to videos. The topic for this video is how to process Section 2 for domestic employees who present receipt documents. Most of the process is identical to domestic employees who present List B documents, so view training material on that scenario first. In this video, let's focus on the major differences and skim through all the similarities. If you have been watching the other videos, you should be aware that this process begins with new hires showing up at your location to have their I-9 processed. You will need to ask for documentation and locate the pending I-9 in the I-9 management system. Remember that the I-9 receipt will help, and if Section 1 has not been completed, you should provide resources for the employee to do that. Use the quick search and additional search criteria such as name to locate the I-9 case. Then take a few seconds to review Section 1 information against the documents presented as well as PeopleSoft. Correcting errors here will save you time later. Continue when finished. Double check that the start date is correct. Then move on to Empl ID. The visa type is only required for domestic employees who are lawful permanent residents. Next, select the set of documents presented. Here is where the receipt document gets identified. You will simply click the receipt checkbox above the document drop-down list. The way you know to do this is partly from experience. In other words, if you are used to seeing SSN cards and the employee gives you a replacement receipt for a lost or stolen SSN card, you can tell the difference. But if you have never seen the original document type, you should still be able to tell it as a receipt because it should be printed on the document itself. Don't be afraid to look up online examples or to call the Employee Service Center if you are unsure. Better safe than sorry. Take a second to read through the pop-up message about what can be accepted as a receipt. A receipt document allows the employee to begin working, but they are only authorized to work temporarily and must present original documentation within 90 days of the start date or today's date, whichever is sooner. The Financial Services Tax Department will follow up with these employees if needed. Those who fail to return with original documentation before the deadline are at risk of being terminated. Click Continue. Enter the document information. The system requests a receipt number, but if the document does not indicate one, simply enter NA. Also, notice the expiration date for the receipt is automatically assigned. Click Continue. As you already know, this is your last opportunity to review information before the I-9 gets submitted. When finished, click Continue. Normally, after Section 2 is completed, the electronic I-9 information is automatically sent to E-Verify system for verification. However, if a receipt document is presented, then the I-9 is not eligible for E-Verify, and the system will not send the information. This means the employee is temporarily authorized to work, and final verification will not occur until the original documentation is brought in. Notice the receipt due date as well as the receipt due document fields are populated. At this point, no further action is required today on the I-9 case. You should remind the employee he or she is only authorized to work until the deadline is reached. The original documentation must be presented before then, or else termination is a risk. You may now log out or proceed with another case. Sometime later, the employee should return to your location with the original documentation in hand. To quickly locate their I-9 record, you can use the quick search for receipt due I-9 types. This receipt due quick search returns all forms that still need to be updated with an original document, and the list should be significantly smaller than the pending list. Locate your employee and click the name link. On the employee detail page, you can update the I-9 case by clicking on the Receipt Update button. The Receipt Update page requests you select which receipts are being updated. If there is only one, it will be automatically selected. Click Continue. Next, enter document information for the selected documents, or verify what is on file matches the document. When finished, click Continue. If your receipt update makes the Form I-9 eligible for verification through E-Verify, then the system will send the information. That is the case in this example, and the E-Verify system returned a status of employment authorized. All that is left is to close the case. Note that if a domestic employee presented a receipt for a List A document and brought in the original, the E-Verify results would be photo matching. As you can see, processing receipt documents is hardly different from processing original documents. There is just the added processing time. To recap, a domestic employee shows up and presents a replacement receipt. As the verifier, you click the receipt checkbox, then enter document information like normal. After that, remind the employee of the need for original documentation and provide the due date. After some time, the employee will return with the original. You will access their record and click Receipt Update. Once you enter the document information, the I-9 will go to E-Verify. Then you manage the results like normal and close the case when finished. That does it for this video. Check out the other training material when you're ready. Thanks for watching.